Hello and thank you for joining me. My name is Gabriel Britt and we will be looking at the APA Zones forecast and review of last week for this week of July the 8th. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get into the Russell 2000 futures here. And as we can see from last week, we had saw price was bouncing off of this level at 939, all the way down to like 935.20. And not only did that level hold, but it looked like we were coming back up to supply around the 996, 106 level, or 1006 level. And we were really waiting for the retest of this orange slash yellow level, whatever color you want to call that up there, but knowing that it is a yellow level and knowing that prices bounce on it several times, price can go through the multi-color levels, because every single time that price bounces off of a zone, the weaker it gets. So let's see exactly what has happened since then. So as I move the little um, video from last week over, you can see that we have our bounce here down at the low there, and there was that previous high up here, as well as, let's go ahead and show some dead zones here just to give us some context. Alright, so price not only came up into that range again at the 96 level, or 996 level, but it looks like it's going to be moving through that. It just passed the top there on the last part of July the 5th, and it looks like we're going even higher than that. So let's see if we have any levels up above there, which it doesn't look like we do. So we are exploring brand new territories. So not only did our forecast of finding support down there happen, but also the retest of this level happen. But we're going higher. So it really does look like a good place just to stay long. But look at the consolidation of those candles right there. We want to stay in line with those consolidation candles, just like that. Make sure we know what's happening in there. But look for a breakout of that range, if you will. So, but we are pushing into new highs. Now let's shift our focus over to crude oil. This was our picture from last week, what we were looking at. Obviously, we're looking at the major move from demand up to supply. And let's see what has happened. No, now note that this is a brown level, so that means it's been bounced on 4 or more times. So it is weak supply. So look for supply to shift, because prices bounce there so many times, or for it to really, really hold fast. So if we look at what has transpired over the week, this is the same level that we were watching right here. Right down in this level here. I went ahead and marked it out for us just so everybody could see that, and you can see like we went through that level with some real force and gusto. Just really nailed that thing. So price did not really hold for a long period of time when we retested that level. Maybe you got a little bit of a retest for like 10, 15, 20 ticks right there, but it really wasn't anything to write home about. And obviously we are making new highs in this market. So something that I'll draw your guys' attention to, but this was actually a daily zone on here. Uh, let's see if I can, right here on my, this is a daily zone that I pulled in from my daily charts. So this was the daily zone that I went and found from like a year ago. And this is a daily supply zone, so you can see how prices bumped up into this range, recoiled off of it, and then powered through it, you know. And something else that I like to also note for everybody is basically price having resistance right here, and then that resistance turning into support right here. Okay, so we see that a whole lot with price action, and I just want to bring everybody's attention to that, to be watching and to be aware that this happens a lot in our markets, you know. And this is the natural flip of support and resistance. So you're seeing it happen off of a daily zone here, and kind of what that big chart looks like. But we're also on a 240-minute or 4-hour chart as well, looking at it from the big picture. So above us, you know, we really do have some blue skies. Next level that we have coming into place is at 110 to 111. It looks like on the 4-hour time frame, and then a little bit higher than that. So all the way up to 116 as we're going back. Um, let's see how far we are going back on this thing. We're going to 5/1 of 2012, you know, to grab that level. So you're looking at a little over a year right there, you know, to grab that 112 level, and we will see if price can power up into that area. It looks like blue skies on the 4-hour time frame. We will see if that continues to be so. I kind of doubt you'll see a big move like that really that quickly, but be on the lookout for these different levels here, all the way down to the 96 up to the 110 level. So that is what we are looking at for CL. Moving over to the ES, we can see that the ES it looks like it found support last week at the 1553 level, and as I recall, the reason for that was because of a bounce off of a higher time frame, like a daily or a weekly chart, if I'm not mistaken. So, looking at that, we were looking for price to be moving back up there to supply, or finding again support right around and off of that level there. So let's go ahead and see what has transpired over the week. How has this prediction really held out? You know, can we foretell the future? Can we predict the future with these zones, you know, and the movement of price action in between these levels? Well, as it looks like right now, it actually looks pretty amazing, because we came down there, and obviously price found support right there off of like that weekly zone that we talked about last week. Um, and again, this is a 4-hour time frame, so price has been really choppy here on the ES, but it did find support from our previous level there again. Um, and so I think that's interesting to note, if you recall from that little screenshot that we had earlier. And it still looks like we're looking to go up there to the 1640 level, 1650 level again. So just be aware of what we have above and below us, but really does look like we're moving back up to supply. And notice that this is a purple level, okay? So as we look into the future with our zone crystal balls, so to speak, or our zone crystal rectangles, let's call them. Let's say that this thing has been hit several times. So as price comes in there, we're going to be expecting this thing to break and to move up even higher, you know, and possibly into brand new unknown territories, you know, back into or up into maybe even the 1700 levels again. So we will continue to watch this thing, but over the course of the week, we've slowly been grinding up, ever so slowly, but the levels have really rang true this past week. So found really nice support off of the previous aqua zone that we had over there, and it just looks really pretty, and looking for us to for something to maybe happen right there. I could see maybe price just like really gapping this area, or making a nice strong bullish move up through this quite quickly on the next retest, or possibly it'll find resistance again. So only time will tell. But these are the levels that we're really wanting to filter out our trades by. All right, as we turn our focus to the euro, this is what we see for last week, and what was happening at the time of the recording. So it looks like we were in an aqua zone, and so we're expecting a first bounce or a money bounce off the aqua zone there. And it looks like we were also on a nice little downtrend, so just making new lows, but it looks like we had a failure to break the low right there. So, but again, a nice aqua bounce, so it's time that it retested that level at 12995, and that level had several bounces on it at the time. So looking really to the short side on the euro, all in all from last week. So let's go ahead and see what has transpired since then. All right, so here was where we were talking about as of last week there. We were forming these bars here, and not only did it blow through the previous zone that was down here, with some great gusto, but it has made even some new lower lows, so this thing just seems to be cratering all the time, and we're just seeing this thing really go to the short side here. So we do have a couple supply levels being formed as we're coming down here. And obviously we did find resistance, or excuse me, support down here, and a failure to break the low, and it looks like it's coming back up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it finds a little bit of resistance right in here from these candles. You see how like consolidated they are, and you see the nice consolidation that we have up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see price find resistance in those two areas. So that's what I would be looking for. And this is a yellow level, so price has bounced on it a few times. So this level could break, but then we do get to an aqua level. There are a few levels on top of levels here, so it does look like this area could hold for a while as it really retests these levels. But the market can do anything that it wants to do. And as we look out over the next few days of the rest of the week here, really want to make sure that we know what can take place on the high side, as well as on the low side, and we see a lot of levels on top of levels here. So one of two things can happen is, in my book, either price can really find support down here off of all these levels on top of levels, or we can blast through them in an epic manner. So that's really what I'm looking for. But there's a lot of bus stops here, like I like to call levels. I call these zones bus stops because it's where we really want to get on the bus. But you can see what's kind of happening right now, and that is what I'm really looking at for the rest of the week here. Looking at last week's corn forecast, we were seeing this channel that was forming on our daily chart, and we were really retesting the bottom side of that channel. And remember, like when we look at a channel or a trend line or something like that, You really do need to give it a little bit of leeway. So we saw this thing come down hard and heavy into this daily corn level here that was just formed, and there's a lot of force and gusto into that big, huge bar. Absolutely massive bar. But looking at that, like, is price going to stop there or not? Well, that is a real good question, and that is the lowest extreme of this channel that you really want to be taking this at. Basically, a really good buying opportunity if price is going to stay there, and really find support down there. However, if it doesn't, then you're looking for price to hit this level, and price could go anywhere after that, because as soon as it hits that level, it's purple. It's been bounced on several times. We're not really expecting anything to hold, but let's see what has transpired, if price did stay in the channel or not. So as we move this thing over, look at that. Well, lo and behold, it sure did stay there. And not only did it stay inside that level and find support right there, but it gapped up the next day and opened there at 668, and now we're at 692. So we are back in the middle of the channel, retesting our lines, and we're shooting for 705. That's where we're shooting for here. But some nice, really nice candles there going on. It looks like we're speeding along back and forth in between the channel lines. Very pretty. And yeah, that was a real nice retest. It didn't completely fake me out of the position, but it was testing the extremes of this channel that we have drawn there. So keep in mind, just like with the zones, we should really say that there's a zone around these channel lines too. And obviously when you're in an up channel and price goes a little bit higher than that, like, look at this stuff over here, like you saw how price went above that channel right there, and you could like fill in an extra little zone up above there. Maybe there's also a channel line on the opposite side of this thing. So take that same exact space that we have right there and put it on the other side. So that's about 9.5 points. So put another 9.5 point zone, or a little leeway for the market to really move on the bottom side there. And when you do that, it actually looks kind of pretty. So I would really say that you need to do that on both the top and the bottom side there. So if we could fill in like some little channel lines with the or channel zones, if you will, on both the up and the down side, that's what we're really looking at there. And I really see us getting up there to the 10 or the 705 level. It is a yellow zone up there, so this thing could break to the upside and go on up to 737, 750. But we are looking for corn to go to the upside. So that is our call right now, and it still looks like it's doing that in a very nice fashion. So let's go down to the 240 time frame and see what that looked like. What this little bounce here looked like on the smaller time frame. Alright, on the smaller time frame, as we circle this level, I do have globally drawn objects on NinjaTrader, so that's the level that I highlighted on the daily, and this is what it looks like on the 240 minute. But you can see price coming back into this level here, and lo and behold, we actually got a really good entry here. So if you wanted to take this thing long, after seeing this huge red candle come down into that level, you could have jumped onto this thing and taken it on to the upside, right around my oval point actually. So that is really nice when that all works out in our favor. So I would say like as soon as you engulf this candle, you could look at getting on at the open. I usually like to try to do something like that. Or if the market's moving pretty fast, you can jump on as soon as you get that engulf and wait for like a previous bar's open or close. Something right around in that range, is really where I could see it being a really good jumping on point, somewhere in that wick, because that wick actually tells us all. Okay, and for those of you that have gone through the price action class, we all know that that's actually like a shooting star candle, but it's in the wrong place. This is down in demand. When it's down in demand, it is no longer called a shooting star, right? It's actually an inverted hammer, and because that's down in the wrong place, it's easy for us to be like, okay, so looking for bars to engulf this candle and then get long. And sure enough, that's exactly what has happened. So, a very nice run up on corn. We are back in our channel, playing towards the higher part of the channel, and I think it'll continue to work out very, very nicely as we retest the 705, 716 level. So that is what we are looking for. So I hope that everybody has had a great previous week of trading, that you had a happy 4th, and we will catch you all next week as we do our review and our forecast and predict out the market's actions based upon support and resistance and supply and demand principles. So thanks to everybody for joining me, and we will catch you next time. Bye bye.